back to AviGaming, and we're going to have another podcast today with Deltron, which is a very close friend of mine that I've known for years. He's not really a YouTuber, but I make the rules. I get to pick who I want, and so yeah, he's been on previous videos with me before, if you're familiar with, I believe it was the Drunk Adventures one where we played Dead or Alive 5, and that was fun. If you haven't seen it, you should. And yeah, so Deltron, I guess tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 24 years old and I'm in the military, Air Force to be exact. I have been gaming since as long as I can pick up a controller, honestly. I've gone through a slew of names and I finally settled on Deltron. I've very different versions of Deltron, King Deltron, Master Deltron, Lord Deltron, Big Deltron. I can go all day, but we're not here about that. We're here about the podcast.
Yeah, and I've known you for years, and you're a real-life friend of mine, but I never call you by your real name. To me, you are Deltron, and you'll always be Deltron, which is probably weird to some people that I always call you a nickname, but it's just your name to me. So yeah, that's what it is. So the first topic, let's get right into it. The first topic is going to be about, there's a lot of stuff going on right now with the whole virtual reality switch, a lot of stuff, from Sony announcing that they're making their own headset, to Oculus selling I guess they're not necessarily selling it, but we'll get more into that. But selling to Facebook for about $2 billion,
right,
which is crazy. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Sony first. Project Morpheus is what it's going by right now. It's quite a code name going on there. I do hope that they don't keep the name Project Morpheus. However, it would be entertaining. But so far, I guess they're saying that they're going to be selling it for about $400, which is kind of crazy because it's almost the same price as their new console.
No, it is the same price because the Sony PS4 is $400.
Oh, I thought it was $5.
Nope, $399. Microsoft Xbox One is the only system right now that is $500.
That is crazy that they're selling it for that much. I mean, a virtual reality headset is cool and it's high tech and I can see it being expensive, but to sell it for the same price as a console seems a bit much.
The thing is with that, I feel like Sony right now, they're going for a grab. They're trying to go big, which is very understandable because I feel like they need to win. The Sony PS4 did outsell some of the other systems at first, but then they turn around and they make something like this. They're gambling once again. This would not be the first time Sony has made a gamble and lost. When the Sony PS3 first came out, for like the first year, maybe second year of its lifespan, it had literally no games. And like people will joke about it to this very day, but it seriously had no games.
It's kind of confusing to me why they're going and making their own headset when they know that the Oculus is already around and it has such a big following, why they felt like they needed to go into that market. Well, I don't know if it was just because they saw the demand for it, that so many people were interested in it, or if it's just because, I don't know, they want to have all bases covered. I'm not exactly sure what their point. I swear if Microsoft announced that they're doing that too, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
We don't need like 30 versions of the same thing for something. Like consoles, I can understand there being multiple options. But not so much with headsets. Like that just... Virtual reality, I think they should have left it with Oculus.
Yeah, and I agree. Honestly, Sony should have been smart and went in with Oculus Rift, but Sony in the past has shown several times versus putting in with something like, oh, we're going to invest our money. Let's try to go all out. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's remember the Sony move because that was such a big success with Sony. I mean, it's still around, isn't it?
They seem to make some questionable decisions. I'm not a huge Sony fan. A lot of you already know that. I mean, I do respect Sony in some ways. I really enjoyed the first two consoles that they did. But, I don't know. They just kind of lost me lately, and I'm not really feeling a lot of the stuff they've been doing. But also, Oculus, on the topic of that, they did, like I mentioned, they did sell for $2 billion to Facebook, of all people. Facebook! Like, it's not even a game company, Facebook! What is going on with that? I haven't looked too much into that yet. I have researched a bit about it. Mostly what I did was I looked into the response from the people who work at Oculus and kind of what they had to say on the matter. They were kind of letting people know like what they were concerned about and what's going to happen. It's not that they're giving over the company and the product entirely and they're not going to touch it anymore. They're still working on it. The same people who have made Oculus Rift possible are still going to be working on it. They just have a lot more resources now and a boss, basically.
Yeah, and
so
it's understandable why they did that because the Oculus Rift right now, they needed that money boost, and Facebook buying them out could be a bad or a good thing. I mean, we'll see, because they turn around and say, yeah, we're not being controlled by Facebook, but then Facebook turns around and tries to say something. Oh, hey, we need you to do this for us. And Facebook not being a big game company right now, I think a lot of people are trying to jump into the game developing business, while certain companies are getting knocked out left and right.
Well, I guess one of the reasons they were saying Facebook was so interested in this is because it was the main demographic for the Oculus is 20 to 30. And that is the main demographic that Facebook is losing right now.
Yeah.
So they're trying to pull people back in. I don't know how this is really going to tie in, but apparently they believe that this will fix their statistics or something.
Well, you gotta look at it. You gotta remember growing up, all those '90s movies that like they messed around with virtual reality. I mean, you gotta look at. Of course, it was a little bit before our time, but movies like Tron, stuff that came, Tron 2, and different movies like I can't remember. It's like just movies that they introduced virtual reality and the idea of virtual reality, and they say, oh, in 20 this, we're gonna have virtual reality, and the fact that it's finally happening, it grabs some of those people. It grabs our generation because, I sit there and I look at the calendar. I'm turning 25 this year. I'm in that demographic. I'm in that group. Like we're getting older. It is what it is, and it appeals to our group because that's what we grew up on. We grew up with the idea of virtuality. You remember the Virtual Boy from Nintendo? You remember that, like the headset that stood up and you put your face in it like this, and you played. It was red and black, but it was cool because it was this was as close we're gonna get to virtuality as we're ever gonna get.
I mean, I don't know. They already have some kind of stuff like that, especially in Japan, where there's like
Hmm.
booths you can kind of do that with. So it's not so crazy. What's crazy about it is that you can have it in your house and put it on your face.
Hmm.
But the thing that I was reading about, going back to Sony, one of the main things that they were worried about with the headset and what they wanted to fix was the motion sickness. Because a lot of people were getting kind of sick with it, and they really want to hone down that problem and fix it. So I'm not sure if Oculus is really focused on that as much. Which will be interesting. Maybe they'll have an anti-motion sickness headset, and Oculus will just be the normal one for people that can stand it. I don't know. But that's one of the points I was reading that Sony was really trying to bring home, was that they wanted to kind of eliminate that problem for the majority of people. But also, I don't know how much the Oculus is right now, but the dev kit's like $350, so it's automatically cheaper than the Sony one.
Yeah, like I actually sat down and I watched a Team Fortress 2 video where they got a bunch of developers to sit down and explain how it works. And watching it looks pretty cool. Like they have the screen in each eye, so that way when you actually look at it, it brings up a kind of a center field of view. The sides are kind of blown up. It's because of how we focus on in the middle of it. And how it works is that you have your head movement. Like you can look around, like he was looking down at his character model, but then with the actual the reticle, like he was playing the heavy, it moves separately, so he can move his head while moving this. And then I was like, that it's pretty cool. And then how the screen kind of was blown up, it made it kind of somewhat 3D, which I can understand you would have the issue where the motion sickness and everything. Like I get motion sickness, so that's why it would be a problem for me. Like I could probably maybe play it for like an hour or two before being like, I need to put this down.
People like projectile vomiting.
It's so awesome! Oh my god!
I can see it now. People doing like let's plays, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna go do," just like everywhere. Oh my god! Oh, I'm gonna wait for those. I don't know how I feel about the whole virtual reality quite yet. I'm not sold on it personally. I would like to try it, but do I want to throw like hundreds of dollars down on something that I might not realistically use quite often?
Yeah.
I'm not sold yet. I want to see what happens when it's on the market. But the Oculus is coming out on the market this year. I don't know when, but it is coming out this year. I don't know when Sony's going to be able to pump that bad boy out, but I imagine it might take a little longer.
I don't see it until next year. We'll say next year. They may, with E3 coming up, there's a lot of big topics that are going to be addressed between Sony and all that stuff. Like hopefully this year they bring some new stuff to the table, because there's been a lot of new games for Xbox One and PS4 that have been announced and they've been teased, but I actually want to see something at E3 versus last year.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I'm just like they actually teased at last year at E3. A big one for me was Mirror's Edge 2. There's been nothing else on Mirror's Edge 2. They even announced one of the guys who's creating it said we weren't ready to announce it yet. Like, they
Yeah.
were forced to announce it, and they're like, it's like so pre-production stage. We got nothing but a poster. That's all you got. Like, there's nothing for us to tell you or show you or anything. It's gonna be made. That's all they had, and
Yeah.
it's so disappointing. They should not do that. I hate when they announce games so early that you're like, oh my god, it's coming out. I want to see more, and there's nothing. There's bullshit.
It's their big pop-up publisher saying, "Hey, we want you to say this game is coming out so we can have
Yeah.
some hype coming our direction." Because I mean, even for instance, Star Wars Battlefront, 3, everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's finally announced." You haven't heard anything since that day. It was like, "Oh, that's it."
I think they go wrong with that because when there's so much like excitement with things, I feel like more people want to look into it, and when they look into it, and then they just kind of forget. They're like, "Oh, well, I haven't heard anything about it in like a year, so what the hell?"
It's like they've all gone completely quiet. It's like, oh, it's kind of hard to get excited for games. That's where, games like Elder Scrolls and WildStar, if I didn't have friends getting WildStar, I couldn't find myself being excited for it because it was like, got announced and then whatever.
One thing I wanted to, next topic that I wanted to talk about was Thief. I mentioned last month that I was really excited about it, and I was going to play it, come back, and tell you guys my feelings. Deltron has not played it entirely. He's tried it. So, I'm mainly going to talk about my feelings considering that I've actually beaten the game. I would say overall the game is, what a lot of people are doing is they're comparing it to, like, Dishonored. And saying that it's a lesser version of Dishonored. And I think that's a little unfair to compare them. While there are some similarities, there's a lot of things that pull them apart. I guess I'm going to start with my bitches about the game. I really, 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 really didn't know what they were doing when they were just throwing you around places. Like, one minute you're in a brothel. Bitches be walking around with their boobs out. Next minute, you're like in a full-on haunted asylum where it's like an amateur horror game. That kind of spooked me with some jump scares, but it's like, and then next minute you're like on a conveyor thing where there's dead bodies. It's just like, it felt like it was just jumpy, like from one place to another. And I heard somebody explain the reason they thought it was like that is because a lot of companies worked on different parts of the game. So it's kind of like they all just meshed it together, and it felt really jumpy. I don't know, it didn't have kind of a flow. I didn't enjoy the combat. The combat was not very good, not enjoyable to say the least. When you had to fight somebody, if it came down to that, which you're not supposed to, but if you do, you're given the option, it's just very not fun. Hitting people with whatever the fuck that thing is, I forgot what he called it, the claw? It's lame. I don't like that weapon. The overall game itself, though, I found enjoyable, like the story and stuff. One of the biggest bitches for me was the voice actor of the main character was so bad. As a person who loves voice acting, as getting into the voice acting business, I really pay attention to that now more than ever. And that guy was so bad. I'm so sorry to whoever the fuck hired that guy. Like, the rest of the voice acting wasn't so bad. Some of it was actually pretty good. The girl was... the main girl that was in there. But the guy, dear fucking God, like, just quit. Just don't ever do it again. It just sounded so like he just was reading a piece of paper, and it kind of ruined the immersion factor for me. Like, I couldn't get into a game where he's just like, well, now, I'm gonna have to take care of those bad guys now, won't I? Just really cheesy, dramatic sounding crap. Like, I really hated that. And then sometimes he had no emotion at all. It was like just a robot guy that had no emotions when he should have. He had, like, really cocky emotions when he shouldn't, and no emotions when he should. Honestly, that's probably my biggest bitch right there between that and the combat. I could get over the fact that the game was a bit jumpy because, whatever, the game's not that long, so you go from place to place. I really did enjoy a lot about the game, though. I think the sneaking was really fun. I like the looting was fun. I'm one of those people who loves looting everything, so the fact that you could kind of loot a bunch of random shit was fun. I didn't mind the lock picking. A lot of people I heard really thought it was kind of tedious and stupid and hated it. I didn't mind it. I actually hate the lock picking in like Skyrim way more. Lock picking in Skyrim makes me mad.
Well, you don't like it in Bethesda lock picking, the
No.
Fallout New
No.
Vegas and Skyrim. You didn't like it?
I fucking hate it, but I didn't mind it so much here because of the way they set it up. It was very simplistic and kind of to the point. You didn't have to waste too much time. Still making it a little bit of a sequence you have to do. So yeah, I really enjoyed the game. Overall, I would say I give it like a 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair. I'd say play it if you're into that kind of thing. But if you're really, really nitpicky on games and you're really, really not cool, another thing that they had problems with, actually, now I remember, there was some frame rate issues. I've been hearing a lot of people complain about frame rate. Frame rate, for me, there was a couple bits, but it wasn't too outstandingly bad. So I don't know. Just, I thought it was going to be more than it was. That's probably the biggest letdown, is I thought it was going to be a little bit more. But then again, I feel like I might be joining a little bit of the nitpick train because it wasn't necessarily a bad game at any point. It wasn't like, wow, this game fucking sucks. It was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say give it a shot. And Deltron, you said you've played it a little bit. What did you think from what you played?
I played from what I played a little bit, and I've played the old school Thief games. Like I didn't grow up on them, but I did, play a little bit of them myself. And in comparison, I would go back, and people would say, "Oh, you're just nostalgic." No, personally, the game I felt the same. It was kind of a, it didn't. It felt like it had no real direction. Like some games, you can get away with that, but this game, it was you had a linear storyline, and you were taking people from here to there to here to there, from what I've understand. And in the voice acting, like honestly, the voice actor was a turn off. Like I am me personally, I am a sucker for good voice actors because I myself have always thought about it because I sing on the side and I do voice acting here and there, but in a nutshell, when you have a main character, you want to make them. You don't have to make them likable, but you have to make them, welcoming as a character. People should be able to not want to say, "Well, I see myself in the character, and I don't see myself in the character." No, you just a likable, enjoyable character, a character that you're gonna play for between 8 and 12 hours, or 8 and X amount of hours, depending if it's a real RPG or not. You got to have a likable character because if not, people are not going to be invested in it. And that was my biggest gripe with it. The combat, and it was, it's supposed to be a sneak game, so I didn't expect much from the combat. And but in all honesty, I was like, I just rather play Dishonored. And not even comparing it to Dishonored, I rather just play Dishonored because I get the same exact elements, just a little bit above, uh, better for when it comes to voice acting, but the combat's there. And for me, I'm a sucker for combat. If you have a good combat in the game, I will stick with it to the very end. Otherwise, it's kind of
Yeah.
like I'll drift off. I'll drift off, and it's kind of like, oh, okay.
I'm not so much of a sneaky person. I did like how they kind of broke up after every level you did, kind of how you played and the style that you played, if you were like a predator or a ghost or an opportunist. I really like that, that it kind of like can realize the type of playstyle you have and kind of like show you. I don't know how they really gauge that, but I really enjoyed that. But I never got Ghost, like ever. I am not the type of person who wants to be the Ghost type of player. I got Opportunist and Predator more than anything because I love shooting bitches in the throat and I like jumping around and doing crazy shit. But I don't know. I'm just like not the. I like that they gave you the option to do both. Like I'm
Yeah,
not saying I Rambo'd my ass in there and like went guns a blazing, but I definitely didn't go quietly a lot of the time. So yeah, I like that because I
yeah.
know people who play Thief are probably gonna like if they watched me play, like if I did a playthrough, people would yell at me. What the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. It's like, oh, fuck, I ain't. Like I really like shooting people and making things go boom. So that's probably not the best game for me, but yeah, I really enjoyed some of it. I would say it's a decent game though, and from what it sounds like, you don't think it's the worst game ever.
Yeah.
So but yeah, talking about games that just came out, I did not play any of the Dark Souls. I did not play Demon Souls, but I know Deltron is huge into that.
Mhm.
So I felt like Deltron, tell us your feelings about Dark Souls 2.
Okay, so since day one of Dark Souls 2 getting released, I have been riding the hype train that is Namco, well, Bamco now because they're now aligned with USA and all that jazz. But Dark Souls, from the get go, Dark Souls 2, they have done nothing but improve the game. People will disagree with me up and down, but I played Demon Souls, I played Dark Souls. Granted, I started on Dark Souls and I went back and played Demon Souls, but Dark Souls 2 so far, it's a great successor to Dark Souls 1. My biggest concerns, my biggest gripes with it so far, and and it's honestly probably everyone, is that the unbalancing of the PvP is like, but it's an early release, so I can't fault it too much because of the simple fact that they're going to patch it, because in Dark Souls 1 the PvP wasn't perfect. You can't expect a game with the online to come out perfect. You can't just shit out a baby and it looked like fucking a Dark Adonis. I mean, I know I did, but when it comes,
Oh, okay.
when
What
it,
are we going with now? What's going on?
but when it comes down to it, I expect it to get better. But as in general, the story in the game, Dark Souls has never had a driving story. Like Dark Souls has always had a vague, open story. Like they tell it in bits and pieces. They don't say they don't put you on a rail and say here you go. No, they say they hint at stuff. Like they want you to have these encounters with certain characters. They want you to speak to characters because and people have in the past like, oh, I'm gonna attack this character. Oh, by the way, that character is actually really important. It's gonna give you a really cool item. Good luck though. The character interaction in this game is actually a lot better than Dark Souls 1. I enjoy it because it gives you a little bit more hinting into the story versus Dark Souls 1, where it was all left to speculation and how the game went. As Dark Souls goes, it takes directly after Dark Souls. Well, not directly after, years after Dark Souls 1. So, you folks out there who keep saying that, oh, well, the undead is the king, he's not. The game takes several years, thousands, like hundreds, maybe thousands. I'm not sure. After you light the flame as a chosen undead, you are a new undead that is brought to this land that is filled with souls. You play a character who is undead. The game is by far probably easily. It's not like a super dark and edgy. The game is not happy at all. You're an undead individual who has come to this land to seek more souls. Whether if you're good or bad is completely up to you because anybody can drop souls, anyone can give souls, but whether or not how you treat these people is completely on you because interactions they actually have different paths, different changes. There's a character who actually if you talk to her throughout the entire game she follows you, but there's several stipulations that determines whether or not if she lives towards the end of the game. So as the story goes, I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't played it. I'm just going to say that it's a lot more explained and a bit more in depth, and people need to actually read it and listen to it versus just making their own assumptions. Because the game clearly states what happens and what doesn't happen. Gameplay wise, better, 100 times better. They've increased how the meta is controlled. They have the weapons, how weapons are they've cut out a lot of the useful weapons. They cut out a lot of the weapons that people don't like, people who didn't like in Dark Souls, because people in Dark Souls, in Demon Souls, only use certain weapons. Certain weapons are good for PvE. Certain weapons are good for PvP. And this one, they've made it so weapons are viable across the board, and that status effects, different upgrades, they spec into different things. It's not like, oh, well, I upgrade my base cannon to fire, fire plus 15. Some of you people who play Dark Souls will get what I'm saying. And I'm hitting like a truck. No, fire now specs off a stat, electric now specs off a stat, and dark magic specs off a stat. And I enjoy it because of the simple fact that you can I myself am a faith user. I use miracles and I use healing magic, but at the same time too I use lightning based attacks which actually scale upward with faith. So everything intertwines together gameplay wise. It feels a lot better, a lot smoother. They've fixed the issue with Dark Souls and Demon Souls had where something would get on the screen, like you go to a certain area and the frame rate would just go to it's just, oh my God, I can't move. Like it was the biggest thing for people in Dark Souls 1 was Blight Town, where you're loading the biggest area in the game. You're loading like 4 to 5 different areas at one time. Enemies in said area and a poison swamp that actually ripples when you touch it. And then the NPCs that are down there, the frame rate goes to complete crap. In this game, I played it on the PS3 version. I've heard on the Xbox 360 version, there's actually not that many issues. There hasn't been frame rate issues. There has been a little bit of lag issues. That's like another issue I have is that I'll hit the pause and it'll take a moment for it to register. Then it'll come up, or a dialogue. It'll take a minute to register. But I'm pretty sure they're remedying that. They've fixed. They're really the company from software is really good on patching stuff because when that frame rate issue was happening, they patched it when the DLC came out and it was fixed. And it was.
So I've talked to some people about Dark Souls, and I'm curious. I heard that they were supposed. The reason that's coming out on PC later is because they were fixing and making it look better and kind of making it graphically look amazing compared to the consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about someone who bought it on the console? Do you feel like you're getting kind of ripped? Are you kind of mad?
No, because I own. I mean, I'm that big a fan. I own Dark Souls one, and then I owned Dark Souls on the PC when it came out. And the thing is, the PC version, it was a direct port. Like you on Steam, everyone knows that sometimes some games they don't even care. They just port it and is like, well, this is cool for PC and all, but it's still spec for Xbox 360. As for Dark Souls 2 is coming out later, graphical wise and all that stuff, it's understandable because it's PC. Because PC is naturally stronger than the PS3 and Xbox 360 is naturally going to be better, and the fact that it's going to be better kind of pushes for me to actually want to buy it on PC also, because there's different communities, because you got the PS3 community, the Xbox 360 community, and the PC community. But granted, the PC community is a bunch of crybabies. Yeah, I said it, what about it? Come see me on PS3. um
You're stupid.
they cried and cried and cried for Dark Souls, and then when they got it, they bitched even harder, saying this game is terrible, this game is ass, and all this stuff. Is like, you can't please people. You can't. Like, there's people already saying, Dark Souls 2 is terrible. I'm gonna go back to Dark Souls 1. It's like, why would you go back to a game that is clearly not that superior? Like, clearly
People
not
are
that.
like that about
Like,
every fucking
yeah, it's
thing.
true. I mean, it's like that with Smash Bros. Melee brawl and all that jazz. I'm not gonna get into that. We'll
When
say
a
it.
game could be blatantly better, there's still gonna be people
Yeah.
who go, the first one's better. Like,
Yeah. And
it's the hipsters of the game world, man. That's what it is.
my last thing is difficulty in the game. I want to say it's about on par with Dark Souls 1. It's not harder, and depending on where you're coming from, like me personally, since I played it, I know the mechanics and know how the game works. It's about on same par. Like, I can truly say I've died my fair share. Like, I remember when it first came out, the death toll was skyrocketing. Like, day one was like over a million. Day three was over 24 million. I'm scared to look at it now. It's been almost 2 weeks since I played, because I played it for 4 days straight. 4 days straight of nothing but Dark Souls 2, and it's like, okay, now I need a break.
What would you rate it?
I would give it a honest to God 9 out of 10. I mean, honestly, it's better than
What
most
about the
games.
first one? How would you compare it?
Compare it. I'd
Like
say
if you rated the first one, how would it do?
I would say the first one was a 8, and then Demon Souls was an 8.5. Because
Really?
Yeah, because Dark Souls has its issues with the PvP and
Yeah.
the summoning. The summoning was my biggest issue. Was like, you would be like, okay, I'm gonna summon my friend. 3 hours pass.
I almost thought you froze. I was like,
But
fuck!
you did.
I was like, motherfucker! Because I had that happen when I was recording last month, and I was like, son of a bitch! And then my internet
Hey,
went out, and
that's what happened though. That's what happened in Dark Souls 1. And then the fact that people would twink, and what twinking is, it's like water. In World of Warcraft, where people would make like
yeah,
these stupid
yeah,
low level characters with all this god tier gear to go
yeah,
camp people. They did that in Dark Souls 1. They would
fuckers.
they wouldn't level their people at all. They would know where everything is, and they would just go to that area, pick up everything, and just farm it out until it's a certain level, and then they would just dunk on people, because it's like, well, my gear is this strong, but my character level's on your level, but your gear is like ass, so I'll just rip through you. Dark Souls 2, they've completely remedied that by making stuff level specific, like a kind of like an MMO. Like, you have to have a certain stat, a certain like I say, a certain strength, certain magic, certain dexterity, a certain this, a certain that, to be able to even use the weapon or use the armor, and I love it.
Alrighty then. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I might actually play that one day. I've been debating. I'm just sad it's not on new gens. Honestly, that let me down. I was hoping to get Dark Souls 2 on my Xbox One, and then people were like, no, it's only 360 and PS3, and I'm just like, fuck.
Well, we would have had to wait another year. Like, honestly, we would have had a Assassin's Creed Black Flag incident where it's like, oh well, the game is cool on PS3, Wii U, and Xbox 360, but on the next gen system, it's literally just like they put a filter over it.
But the Xbox One and the PlayStation 3 need more titles. Like, all these games are coming out, and they're not bringing them to new gens, and it's really depressing me. Well, the next thing I want to talk about real quick is that the last DLC for Bioshock Infinite came out, Burial at Sea, Episode 2, which I was so freaking excited for. I played the first one, and I was kind of on the fence about how I felt about it. It definitely was good. It was more so kind of like a Rapture kind of story. It was like pre-Rapture going to hell kind of. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like It was interesting. I really did like that, and you obviously were there with Elizabeth and Booker.
Yeah.
So the story was good. The game was so short though; it was only like 2 hours long, and that's what really threw me off. I know it was supposed to be like an episodic thing, but for a DLC only being 2 hours and then having to wait another like how long was that? Like
It-
5 6 months.
we waited a long time because it's like the what was it, the raid, the Mass Effect mode, what was it, the raid mode, I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, waves.
Yeah, the wave mode
Clash,
came out.
Clash of something. Clash in the
Yeah, it was like
Clouds.
that came out. Then it was like, oh, we're still gonna release it, but you guys gotta wait. And then it's just now coming out right when the company is no longer
Yeah,
together.
so I played pretty much all the DLC then. I also played the Clash one. I forget the Waves one. What it was called. I think it was Clash in Clouds or
Yeah,
Clash of Titans or something. I don't remember. But I played that, and then I played episode 1, which was good, but they left off right at the cliffhanger, which is a dick thing to do. And then I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so I'm gonna talk about this very carefully. I'm gonna choose my words carefully here. So episode 2 I played yesterday. It was a lot longer. I believe it's like 4 to 6 hours. If maybe I just played it slow. I'm the kind of person who checks everything, so I take forever to beat those kind of games. I was literally checking every corner, every locker, every cabinet, anything I could possibly find. So yeah, I took for fucking ever. So yeah, I think it was about 4 to 6 hours. It was really, really good. It way better than the first one. Longer. It tied into more story stuff. You play as Elizabeth, which was fucking amazing. The entire part 2 you play as Elizabeth, which was really fun for me because I love that character.
yeah.
I adore. That is an example of a fantastic voice actor. That's what a voice actor should do. Not Thief. Dear God, no. But it was great. The story, it kind of made me really upset by the time I beat it because I was like, I was thinking about the fact that the company's done. There might be more Bioshock stuff in the future, like they were talking about that, but I don't think it'd be the same with a whole new company making it. And I don't know. I love the characters. I love the story. I've been playing Bioshock since it came out.
Yeah.
Most people I know didn't play 2. I've played all of them. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm not the kind of person who likes doing DLC a lot of the time either. So for me to do the DLC, all of them, kind of shows how much I care about that series. And I want more. It plays into a lot of the big daddy and little sister kind of thing. It goes into more of like talking about tears and the how Rapture is kind of intertwined with Columbus. Is it Columbus?
Yeah, it's the floating city of Columbus.
Is it Columbia?
It's Columbia. No, yeah, it's Columbia.
Yeah, I was getting those two mixed up. Sorry.
It's close enough.
Yeah, I'm always like, is it Columbus or Columbia? Columbia, yes, my bad. But yeah, they're showing how Rapture is kind of tied with it, how they're kind of like, they know stuff about each other, kind of. I don't know, it's interesting how everything ties together and how it kind of shows how, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it. It's so difficult.
Just avoid it. Just be like, okay.
It's so difficult talking about a game that you don't want to give anything away because other people are gonna play it. But my honest review of it is get it. It's worth it. It's great. I had the season pass, so I don't know how much it is.
I want to say it's between 10 and 15. I want to say because I remember looking at it because I'm still playing. Finishing up Bioshock is I'm picking up and it's go because I like Bioshock Infinite, but it didn't grab me as much as Bioshock 1 and 2 did. Like Bioshock 1, I couldn't put it down. And then Bioshock 2 was I picked it up, played it, and then put it down. And then later on, I picked it back up and beat it. And then it was like Bioshock Infinite was kind of like, oh, I like it. I enjoy it.
Really? Because I love 1. I adored 2. I thought 2 was really good. A lot of people didn't like 2.
I like
But I really, I feel like Infinite really fucking knocked it out of the park. I like the Infinite universe more because I feel like with Rapture it all kind of looked the same. It was very kind of green hued and very dark. And, I feel like with Columbia it was more open and beautiful and kind of scenery I like to look at. It was also more interesting when they started putting in the skyhook and stuff. I don't know. I feel like Infinite was miles better. But I love how with the DLC they didn't just go more into Infinite. They kind of went back And usually I'm not a huge fan of like prequel stuff, but it's just like it kind of tied everything in so well that it just made me happy. And I don't know, I love that company. Don't go. I'm sad. One more thing. If you beat that game, if you get it and you beat it, stay for the fucking credits. Now there's a song. It's not in any extra like story stuff, but it's a song, and I love it. It's so good. It's sung by the voice actress who plays Elizabeth,
Yeah,
and I love it.
they've
Just
done a lot of songs like that. Like just listening to the guy who's played Booker and then her, those two sing together. I was like, it's pretty legit. I was like, I like it.
there's this one part. I just remembered it because you were talking about singing and stuff. Okay, this isn't really a spoiler. There's a guy that randomly pops up who's playing guitar at one point, and I was like, I wonder if I can kill him, and I, like, beat him over the head. You can kill him. So if you see a guy playing guitar, I mean, there's nothing bad that happens if you kill him, but don't hit him. Because I felt really bad. I was just not singing this beautiful song on with his acoustic, and I'm just like,
Fuck you! Stop singing.
oh my god, I felt so bad. It was like I just stopped there. I was like, shit, I didn't think that would work. 'Cause you know those moments where I have a friend who I was playing Thief around, and he's like, I wonder if you could break this, and was like trying to hit stuff and like just random like faces and stuff. That's how I felt with this guy. I was like, what if I can break him? Yes, the answer is yes. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, which is actually the last topic for today, is the Unreal 4 engine was announced, I believe, during the Game Developer Conference.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool because, you know, those kind of things are usually pretty expensive to get engines and stuff for your game. That's why a lot of people probably just rather make their own. But at the same time, they've made it so it's like pretty affordable. They said it's only gonna be $19 a month plus a 5% revenue of your game stuff, which is pretty crazy. I mean, a lot of indies can now get that, and I mean, I've always been a fan of Unreal Engine. I love a lot of the games that are on the Unreal Engine, and I love the company that made it. Epic is pretty great, so win-win, really. I mean, if I was into making games, that's what I would do. So I don't know. Have you looked into the Unreal Engine at all?
Yeah, it actually looks really good. I mean, me personally too. I mean, we've played Unreal games together. By the way, they need to bring back Langdari Conflict 3. You do that. Unreal, we played Unreal Tournament. What was it? 3 together? That was a very
They need 4. When
four.
they announced Unreal, no, I'm saying they need to bring that. But
Yeah, they're going to. I can see it.
When they were announcing the Unreal 4 engine, I thought that meant like Unreal 4. I saw Unreal 4. I thought that meant Unreal Tournament 4, and I got so excited because I want that.
I can see it on the next gen because we got Unreal 3 at like towards like I won't say it's towards the middle end of the 360 PS3 like it and it looked great. It looked amazing. Like I could truly say that.
It will happen. That's Epic's baby. Like,
Yeah.
That'll happen, but it's just a matter of
The engine, but that's for the engine. I watched the demo today. Actually, when I got home, sitting there before we actually did this podcast, there was engine showcase. I can't remember the name of the video, but I literally just watched it, and it looks amazing. Looks like it could be something really good if people actually put it to good use. I mean, because we all have good memories of Unreal games and Unreal, images and just Unreal how it looked. Like hell, in 3, I know there's times where people just sit there and stare at the water run down the wall just because of how amazing it was.
So many games use that engine.
Fox engine we got to see that when Ground Zero got released. It felt like it should have been just a demo, but. Fox engine is gonna be something to compete with, and then Unreal 4 engine. There's gonna be some new engines coming out. Hopefully, they will completely utilize the power of the next gen because so far.
I believe it. I believe. Yeah. Honestly, if any, I am like a big fangirl of Unreal. I love Epic.
Mm-hmm.
They made some games that I fucking adore. So, and I feel like their engine's always been super user friendly. Like, I am not the kind of person who would ever create stuff like that. But from people I know personally who like make games and work with those engines, it's always been like the go-to for people. A lot of people I know. So it's like. I feel like with 4, they're still going to keep probably the user friendliness, but it's just going to have the power of the new gens. Which I'm all for new gens. Like I'm on the hype train, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring.
Let's hope Ep.3 brings a lot this year because between like Sony, hopefully will say something. Microsoft, I'm looking for them to say something, and then Nintendo already. I mean, I can go all day about Nintendo, but so far Smash Bros. Let's hear it, Nintendo. Come on, you've been teasing it. Let's hear it. Come on.
I'm just hoping for some fucking release dates for some of these
Yeah.
games promised. Like, I mean, Kingdom Hearts. I want to know when the fuck that's coming out.
Don't look. Don't. I'm gonna tell you now. If you get your hope up and you're gonna wait on it forever, just know it's coming out. Know they're working on it.
I want
It's
to
gonna get.
know when Dragon Age 3 is coming out. I want to know when Mirror's Edge 2 is coming out. I want to know when my fucking Kingdom Hearts 3, the game of games, like, everyone needs this game in their life. And the fact that, oh my god, I was so worried when I thought it was going to be a PS4 exclusive. My heart sank when I thought it was going to happen. And then they were like, I think fucking Microsoft just, like, waved their money at them, like, hey, let us have that.
Because everyone thinks Square Enix has been like, oh, well, they've been rolling him. Nah, I think, too, that there was like a Microsoft was like, hey, we got...
Because it was announced as an exclusive,
yeah.
And the next day...
oh, by the way, guys...
PlayStation stopped the only one getting it.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, guys, Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, they're both coming out on Xbox One. So you guys who have Xbox One, don't... Fear not. It's not...
I considered buying both because of just that fucking game. Like, I literally want it so bad that I was like, you know what? I might just have to get a PlayStation 4 just to play one game, and then I'll probably sell it.
It's like, I'll eventually get a PS4 when it gets some games, because right now it's just... I have an Xbox One myself.
Such a me and him got in so many heated, like, not like fights, but oh my god, the fanboy and fangirl shit going on between us was so strong last year. And it's like, now I just want to make it known he's got an Xbox One and he doesn't even have a PlayStation.
Look,
and
but I want to go on record to say I got it for Christmas, so it was a choice: get a $400 machine or a $500 machine for Christmas, and I was like,
I'm just saying, it ain't that bad.
I've told people, you know it, I'm an apex predator when it comes to gaming. I have just about every system out there, including some of the old ones. I have 360, PS3, Vita, DS, Wii U, Xbox.
You talk so much shit on that Xbox One.
I still talk shit. The kinetic is ass, and I will say it to this very day. It is fucking terrible. It is like watching Idiocracy when I come on. Like, I hate it. The fact that my friend sits next to me, because it's actually at his house. He sits next to me, and he just trolls the shit out of my fucking Xbox One. He'll randomly out of nowhere say, Xbox off, Xbox stop. Don't listen to him. Like, we're having, fights over who the Xbox is listening to. Like,
that's not the Kinect's fault. That's your asshole friend's fault.
I mean, everyone remembers the joke when someone came on Call of Duty and had his name, what was it, Xbox sign off. Yeah. Everyone remembers that. It was pretty funny because people just logging out of the game is little stuff like that may be okay, but. Xbox One, one thing I can say they have over Sony, they actually have games right now. Like, so far, right, I consider myself a big gamer, but when there's days when I work 9-hour days, like 5 days a week, so it's like I come home tired after the gym, and I just want to turn my brain off and shoot stuff. I can put on Titanfall, Plants vs. Zombies, or Dead Rising 3 and just play. That's one thing I can truly say, because right now that's what I'm playing.
Did we talk about Project Spark?
No, we didn't.
Oh, hey! So Project Spark's open beta on the Xbox One. Another thing that the Xbox One is great at is putting betas directly on the console. Yep. And so me and him have both played a little bit of it. I'm gonna go ahead and say that,
Yeah, it's a demo. I mean, it's a beta. What do you expect? Well, I want to say it feels like an alpha, to be completely honest, because it took like a solid.
It's so laggy.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's clunky. It's very clunky, and I couldn't imagine how people would sit there and create stuff for how laggy it is. That's why just walking around in the world is like I felt like, honestly, I felt like I was playing Dark Souls, Demon Souls. How clunky I was. I was like, I remember this movement. It's not fun. And then even the attacks was kind of like slow motion. It's like, this game could be something. We'll see. We'll see.
The thing that I like about it, which I think is really cool, is people can like recreate. Like some people did like a Fable thing with it. Some people did like Link's Adventures from Zelda.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool, like playing these like remakes of games within a game where people just made them because they felt like it. And it's really decent. Like, it's a decent game. Has a lot of potential. If you're into kind of like cartoony, casual, kind of create your own world type of thing, it's not bad. I mean, if you have an Xbox One, you can play it right now for free. My only bitch really is how fucking terribly laggy and frame rate problems there is. Like, it's not even just a little. It's like full on slow motion kind of shit sometimes. And you're just like, ooh! And it
takes
handle it.
it takes a while to load up too. It's like, well, if this is your first time loading, okay, I loaded this map 2 times now, and it's still taking like a solid 10 minutes to load. Like I got up, got a drink, went to pee, got food, sat down, and it still wasn't done loading. Like it's like okay, let's hopefully, but because they're actually talking about using the Connect, and that was the thing that got me. It was like you can use the Connect to do this and all this. Like you some serious Disney Fantasia shit going on where you're just making all types of stuff just happen on the screen.
I think we all have that dream. Like, we can just go, and it's like all these screens pop up, and you're just like kind of. Yeah, that's gonna happen one day. Probably not in our lifetime, but.
Well, hey, they're talking about in Project Spark how you can take boxes, move them, do all this stuff, but I don't think that won't be until.
But it's Peter Molyneux. He has a tendency to say he's gonna do stuff and then not deliver.
Yeah.
Fable.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like he's gonna say a lot and then don't expect a lot. I mean, I like his ideas. He's a good game creator, game dev. He does good stuff, but yeah.
He plays with some dangerous fire. Like
you can't tell a community you're gonna do something and then go, oh, it didn't work out. Like then don't fucking say it.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the biggest thing. Like that was like I think a letdown for me in Fable 3. How he mentioned, oh yeah, it's gonna be like Fable 1, and you can do all this stuff. I'm like, there's nothing in here like Fable 1. Like it just plays like Fable 2.
That ending. I've never been so fucking mad. Well, that's probably a lie. But, dear fucking God, I got to the end of that game, not saying spoilers, just made me want to kill things. Made me want to commit homicide. That's not a good way to feel about games. Not because it was upsetting, just because overall the game design, like, what the fuck were you thinking?
2 was probably the biggest. The ending to 2, like, it's not even a spoiler. People have played Fable. The ending to 2 where it's like choose a path, and you shoot him in the face. That's it. That's the end of the game, guys.
You know what's worse? Did you play the co-op? What the fuck?
Yeah, when you had the bandit running around with you.
You had to fucking, when you're trying to co-op with people, you have the same camera that you're sharing. Yeah. Like it's a side-scrolling fucking platformer or something.
Yeah.
It's not. What are you thinking? You can't share a camera. Like, I gotta hold your fucking hand and it just goes all crazy because one person moves, the camera's like, what the fuck?
Not even that. Like, the fact that you're playing a bandit character. Oh, you have your character specs. It's like, but I'm a bandit. I'm not my character, though. Like, the point of you co-op is to me be in someone's world with my character, not just some random-ass character you generate. Once again, not delivering what he said he was going to deliver.
It was utter crap. Like, it wasn't even playable. I tried co-op. I literally stopped a minute after because I was like, what? I'm not going to share a camera with my co-op. Like, that just ruins everything. So, I don't know. I'm not shitting on Peter. I'm just saying. Peter has a tendency, and this is one of his games. Project Spark is a game where he's talking up real big, and, I mean, it's not bad. It's better than I expected, whatever that means.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to hold my breath. I think that's my title for games. Not going to hold my breath until the game comes out. Like
until you get on the fucking hype train, and then you're the biggest hyper I've ever seen. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this month's podcast. I will see you guys again next month. I believe my next podcast guest is going to be Lauren Side, if you're familiar with her. And yeah, we could have Deltron back at some point, because I know he likes doing these kind of things. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to leave down in the comments, calm down. If you guys have any questions you want to leave down in the comments for next time, I want to start answering questions at the end. So leave some comments down below about anything game related, and me and Lauren will answer it next month. So yeah, I will see you guys next month. Bye.
Bye.